It seems Donald Trump may to some degree see the writing on the wall that he may not win the 2024 Republican primary. We've already speculated, as have a number of different writers, is Trump even going to make it to the Republican primaries, or will a lack of support all but force him to bail, maybe citing other interests, maybe citing health issues, before a single ballot is even cast in the 2024 Republican primary? Well, there's another possibility that Trump does run for president, but not within the Republican primary. And that seems to be what he is now threatening to do. Trumpist site encourages Donald to run in a third party, and he seems down. Former President Donald Trump, this is from Rolling Stone, who threw his nightmarish red cat back into the ring and launched a third bid for the White House, shared an article Wednesday that suggested he run as a third party candidate. Posting on Truth Social, the social media platform he started after being booted from Twitter, Trump promoted an article from conservative publication American Greatness. Staying true to the site's unofficial role as a Trump mouthpiece, Dan Gelernter, that's difficult, huh? Claimed that the RNC can pretend Trump isn't loved by the base anymore, and that Trump is still admired and even loved by those who consider themselves ordinary Americans. Gelernter compared Trump to the late President Teddy Roosevelt and suggested the idea of running third party. Although Gelernter admits that Trump running as a third party candidate would likely meet a similar fate to Woodrow Wilson, he declared his allegiance to the former president. Trump then reposted that. I guess you could say he retrothed it. And Mediaite reports Trump appears to threaten third party run to split the Republican Party in half. We want the Republican Party to destroy itself. Democrats seem unable to destroy it, and in fact, sometimes make very strange decisions that seem to almost prop it up. But it would be great if the Republican Party destroyed itself. And a third party run by Donald Trump would splinter the party, and it would absolutely undermine its own chances in future elections. Now, a key factor to consider when we think about this is, if Trump runs third party, what impact does that have on Republican voters? What would the average Republican voter think? Because you have these Trump supporters that are fiercely loyal to an almost cult-like degree. They would certainly follow Trump if he ran as a third party candidate. That takes votes away from the Republican Party, and we'll talk in a moment about why that is so important. That splits the conservative vote and opens the door for Democrats, even with a mediocre candidate, whoever the candidate ends up being, to win elections. You could also see the Republicans that are less cult-like, but are sort of in the, well, I'm a conservative, but I'm not a Trump person, but I really don't like Hillary. I really don't like Biden. So I'm going to hold my nose and vote for Trump. That group that is already sort of turned off by Trump's rhetoric and by Trump's actions, if Trump runs third party, that group of Republicans will absolutely see it as, okay, listen, I held my nose and I voted for Trump over Hillary, and I voted for Trump over Biden, but that's because he was still within the party I support. Now that Trump is running third party, that's too much for me. And I'll either stay home or just vote for the Republican candidate, even if I know that it's an inevitability that with the vote split, the Democrat will win. So it could also hurt Trump with those reluctant Trump voters that are really more Republicans than they are MAGA people. And then there could be the far-reaching consequences for Republicans more broadly. If you have the vote split in that way, and some people stay home and some vote third party for Trump, will they be as eager to go out and vote for Republican candidates for the House of Representatives? Will these folks who are kind of disgusted by what might happen within the Republican Party if Trump runs third party, will they go out and eagerly vote for Republican Senate candidates? So Trump running third party could be a delightful disaster for the Republican Party, not only at the presidential level, but also down ballot. Now, the math of it, for those who may not know or who need a refresher, is very simple. The Trump third party run all but ensures a Democratic victory. In the United States, much to my dismay, I don't like the electoral college system, but the way you win in the United States is you have to get a majority of the electoral college votes. That means that based on population, each state has a different number of votes, or you might call them points. You need 270 points or votes to win. And the only way you get those in most states is by, the only way you get any in most states is by winning the state's popular vote. If Trump were to run as a third-party candidate, it is likely that he would pull enough votes away from the Republican candidate that the Republican candidate would lose, but that he would also not get enough votes to win himself, meaning that a state that might have gone 55-45 to Trump could end up going something like, just to make it up here, 45% to the Democrat, 35% to Trump, and 30% to the Republican candidate. Most states do not have a 50% runoff threshold. Georgia does, but not all states do. And so Trump running third party would all but seal the deal for the eventual Democratic nominee. When you split the right-wing vote, you make it easier for Democrats to win, and you make it easy for Democrats to win with not even a majority of the vote. The real question becomes, is Trump dumb enough not to understand the reality of the math? And or is Trump narcissistic enough to think that this is a good idea? I hope the answer is yes to both. And as I've said many times before, as an observer of politics, I'm talking about myself now, I don't care about the Democratic Party. I'm not a Democrat. I just vote for whoever I think is going to do the best job. But I recognize the dynamics, the party dynamics that exist. I would love to see the Republican Party damage itself in exactly this way. Whether Trump will do it, whether the Republican Party has some fail-safe, remains to be seen. Let me know your thoughts. And folks, make sure as we wrap up 2022 and get into 2023, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. It costs nothing. It affirms what we do, and it helps us in YouTube's algorithm. We're fighting for 2 million YouTube subscribers. It is not a level reached by too many progressive YouTube channels. Help us get there. More than 3 million of you regularly watch our clips but don't subscribe. Nothing changes for you. You can still eat whatever food you like. You can still watch whatever shows you want. You just hit subscribe and you get us a little bit closer to that 2 million threshold. We'll take a quick break and be back right after this with the final show of the year.